Hello, my name is Kaneda Harris, and today I'm going to be doing a rhetorical evaluation on Jabar Boykin and his presentation that he gave to us one day in class. The writer, who is Jabar Boykin, has written a series of poems about struggles of being a Black boy, which we see as apparent in his book, Whatever Happened to Black Boys. And he also writes about some of the societal issues that he had to experience or that he has seen others experience. He also stated that he wanted to make some of his experiences or some of the stories that he was told a little bit more magical, which we can see is depicted in his poem called Here's What Happened to My Father. In this poem, he basically is telling the story of this man who goes to this plantation and look for some rest because he has been traveling, and he sees basically all of these household items, which are the spirits of slaves, or basically these slaves have been entrapped into these household items. The objects also warn him against the presence of the blue monster, and so we can see that that has depicted again the power struggles and just a lot of the social economical struggles that occurred in that Black to white struggle. We can assume that he wants to tell this from a different perspective. Black writers tend to tell these stories and tend to not miss out on a lot of the heaviness and the darkness that we've had to experience. And you can see that Jabar has written it in more of a playful way by using the story of the Beauty and the Beast, which is generally a children's story and generally pretty lighthearted in nature, to basically tell the struggle and to tell the story of struggle. He wanted to depict basically these traumas in a different way, depict them not quite as heavy as they typically are in a lot of black writings. For some historical context behind Jabar's book, we can basically tell that it widely begins during the era of slavery, which led to the long-term oppression of several African Americans. African Americans to this day still deal with the repercussions of slavery, which include discrimination, wage gaps, white flight, police brutality, and a lower socioeconomic status. The text, which is Whatever Happened to Black Boys, has a very wide audience, very versatile audience. He reaches to other POCs and other activists, Black history buffs, and others who just want to know the experience of a young Black person. The exigence or his motivation to create poetry, as he said, was to rework these stories and to shine light on the experiences of Black boys, whether that be in the past or the present. He also said he uses poetry to basically mimic the flow of music, which was one of his biggest inspirations as a child. Music has like sort of a swinging motion to it, which can also be mimicked in poetry because poetry is essentially music without the instrumentals. He also, chose to write about specifically Black people from his mother. His mother actually influenced him to reach out and read Black writers and read about his culture and just reimmerse himself in his culture, which is one of the reasons why he chose to write about his culture. Jabar also had a stance on toxic masculinity in the Black community, which reached to several audience members, I'm sure, during his presentation. It definitely reached to me because he talked about his grandfather and his experiences with toxic masculinity and how he wanted to frame or basically stray away from that. Jabar Boykin had a huge influence on me and probably several other students in the class when he talked about a lot of the things that he talked about, which was very relatable to me as a Black woman and still someone who is pretty young. I'm going through the same things he is. I'm fighting the same fight he is. And so I think that listening to an activist has been really, really important in this class and especially in this time period now. I cannot wait to listen to more presentations in the future.